Hey everybody, Vestmore here, and today, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are going to be taking a look at Jedi the Fallen Order. Ever since the game was named last year at E3, I have been in agony waiting for more information about this game. Like seriously, I am a huge Star Wars fan, so it's amazing to finally have a little bit more to chew on with regards to Jedi Fallen Order. Now, we got a ton of new information at the Star Wars Celebration 2019 event in Chicago last weekend, from things like panels, Q&As, etc. So I thought it'd be a great idea just to bring you guys a video that detailed all the cool, exciting things that we know about Jedi Fallen Order so far. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and guys, let me know what's your favorite Star Wars game. I've got a ton, I'm not going to tell you them now, but let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite Star Wars game? Also guys, if you've ever wanted to be a content creator, this is your chance. We've got an awesome collaboration going with the guys over at Nerd or Die at the minute, where you can be in with a chance to win everything you can see right here on the screen. If that sounds good to you, you can check out the link in the description box down below. Anyway, with that, let's talk Star Wars, shall we?
Trust no one.
So, straight off the bat, let's start with the release date. Jedi Fallen Order has been confirmed to be releasing on November the 15th in 2019 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Now, I'm super excited about this. This means we'll be able to get our hands on the game this year, and honestly, November 15th is not that far away. It's right within reach, and even though it's not going to be releasing on the Nintendo Switch, which is a bit of a shame, I'll still be super happy to run this on my PC. Obviously, from the trailer, the game looks absolutely stunning. One interesting thing to note actually is they've opted to use the Unreal 4 engine, which is a little bit off-brand for EA. They of course usually opt to use their in-house Frostbite engine, but this is certainly an interesting change to say the least. Next up is the actual setting of the game. It was confirmed that the game takes place after Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, during the Dark Times, where the Empire ruled over the galaxy. It is, however, set before Episode 4, A New Hope, which is interesting because that puts it in the spot where Rogue One is and Star Wars Rebels as well. So it's very possible that we might see some crossover from those stories in Jedi Fallen Order, which honestly would be absolutely amazing. If they put Ahsoka Tano in this game, I'm gonna go nuts. Of course, being set during the Dark Times means as a Jedi, you're not the most popular person. It seems like you're going to be constantly under the threat of being hunted down by Inquisitors, specifically in this case, the Second Sister. Now, not much is actually known about her, and I don't want to get too much into the lore of this game because obviously not a lot is confirmed. However, between her and the new Purge Troopers, which looks super cool by the way, I can see them as posing a pretty big challenge for our main character. Moving on from there, we have the fact that this game has been confirmed to be single player only and with no microtransactions. Now that's super interesting because Respawn is known as being typically a multiplayer game developer, what with games like the Titanfall series and more recently the super successful Apex Legends. I think it'd be really interesting to see their take on a single player game. Now it is worth mentioning that apparently it's a completely new team that worked on Jedi Fallen Order, so it's not the guys who did Apex or Titanfall to my knowledge. However, the game director working on the game is Stig Asmussen, who was also the game director on God of War 3, so it's safe to say he knows his single player action games. As for no microtransactions, that's a pretty interesting take. A lot of single player games recently have had microtransactions in them, however they've never really been necessary for completion of the game. However, the supposed complete absence of them in this game is kind of refreshing. Now, next up, we've not seen any gameplay, however, the game has been described as a third-person action-adventure Star Wars game with thoughtful combat. Now, I wanted to highlight this point specifically because as a huge Star Wars fan, I've played pretty much the entire roster of Star Wars-based games, and one series that stuck out to me was the Jedi Knight series by Ravensoft. Now, that series was amazing. Jedi Academy was one of my all-time favorite games as well. The lightsaber combat in that game is incredible. It's super easy to pick up, but it has so many nuances to it and so many ways to master it that you could get really, really good. So what I'm hoping for when they say thoughtful combat is a similar system to this. One where you have to think tactically about which strikes you're going to use, the direction of the strike, the power of your strike even. A decent example that's a little bit more modern for those of you who haven't played the Jedi Knight series is For Honor. The developers did elaborate somewhat, saying they wanted combat to be tactical. They really wanted the player to really have to think about which options they have available to them and which of those options would be the best for taking down specific enemies. And then not only there, but if you've got a crowd of enemies, which options are best for taking down those different enemies in tandem, essentially. So honestly, that sounds great to me, and I'm just waiting for some gameplay so that I can finally get some expectations for what the combat's going to be like. Now next up, while we're on the topic of combat, there was an interesting tidbit about the lightsaber. Apparently your lightsaber will be able to evolve as you progress through the game. Now, they didn't exactly state what this meant, but maybe we can do some speculation. Looking at the lightsaber itself, it seems to be super damaged, so perhaps as you go through the game, you'll upgrade it and slowly restore it, and perhaps they'll even take it a step further and allow you to customize it in the way that you want to. One interesting idea I had was, if you look at the saber, it looks a little bit off. Right at the bottom, it's completely frayed. So I was thinking maybe this was part of a longer either saber staff or a saber polearm, which honestly would be super cool. Imagine you could upgrade your character so you could rebuild this lightsaber and you had the choice of either going, one-handed like usual, or you could use a double-sided saber staff like Darth Maul and just body everybody. That would be amazing. But yeah, certainly the idea of the lightsaber evolving, maybe you could even go further and customize the kyber crystals inside, similar to the Force Unleashed, where you could essentially change the color of your lightsaber, but also each kyber crystal had a different effect on it. I'm sure they could probably come up with something better than that, but that would certainly be a good start. So next up, in addition to all of that, the game developers actually said that they took inspiration from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and Metroid when creating the game. They elaborated specifically on enemy designs, saying that in Wind Waker and Metroid, enemies have very specific abilities that they use that makes you think about specific ways to take them down. And they were also saying that as you progress through those games, and in the case of Zelda, you get more items, and in the case of Metroid, you get more upgrades, the ways that you interact and fight those enemies change, because you're given more options to deal with them. A good example would be in Metroid, fighting Metroids themselves. I believe they're completely indestructible until you get ice missiles, at which point you can freeze them and destroy them. So I think the idea was they wanted you to feel like as you got more options, you'd be able to take down enemies in more creative and interesting ways. Last but not least, we have locations and exploration. Now the main website itself has a little bit to say about this. It says, explore ancient forests, windswept cliffs, and haunted jungles as you decide when and where you want to go next. Now, to my knowledge, not much has been said on if this game will be open world or not. But what's interesting is that last part, decide when and where you want to go next. Perhaps we'll see something similar in the vein to the Mass Effect series, where you have a ship and you're able to fly between locations, which would certainly be interesting. Star Wars usually has a focus on multiple planets, so I assume those ancient forests and windswept cliffs aren't all on the same planet. However, you never know. There's also been talk of revisiting locations and playing through them again, but after you've upgraded your force powers. This will apparently allow you to access locations and areas you wouldn't have been able to before, as well as explore and traverse them in different ways. But yeah, there you have it. That's currently everything I know about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. If you guys enjoyed this video, again, please leave a like, and let me know if you're excited for this game as much as I am, and let me know what your favorite Star Wars game is. Anyway, that's it from me. This is Vest, signing off.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out some more awesome stuff from us here at Arekkz Gaming, then you should definitely try to catch 269 and Paradise Central streaming 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. They play a wide range of games, and what's more, we also have the Endgame store. By watching their streams, you earn currency, and you can redeem that currency on the Endgame store for really cool prizes. Those can range from things like games, comics, and figures, all the way up to controllers, capture cards, and even consoles. So definitely drop by and become part of the community. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you're subscribed and be sure to click on that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload. You can watch more videos by clicking on the options here, but once again, thanks very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.